Welcome back, I'm Joseph, and in this video I want to be busting some Leathercraft myths. Now if you're new to this channel, be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what Leathercraft myth I have missed. Now let's begin this video. The first myth is that vegetable tan leather is better than chrome tan leather. Now the reason I believe that vegetable tan leather was better than chrome tan leather is because vegetable tan leather is tanned with natural tannins such as tree bark compared to chrome tan leather that uses chromium. Now debating whether what tanning method is better is one point. However, when it comes to actually using vegetable tan leather, you soon find that vegetable tan leather does have its limitations. For example, a turned inside out bag, a softer tempered chrome tan leather is actually a better option for a turned inside out bag compared to vegetable tan leather. Now you can get softer vegetable tan leathers, but generally chrome tan leather tends to be more softer. So for turned inside out bags, chrome tan leather is the better option. So different projects are better suited for vegetable tan leather or chrome tan leather. Number two is a misunderstanding of chrome tan leather. Now, chrome tan leather is quite controversial. You can read articles online about saying it's dangerous, etc. However, there's a bit more to it. I'm going to read from my notes here, but what I'm about to say, just take it with a grain of salt. I'm not an expert in this field. And if I am wrong, just let me know in the comments. Chrome tan leather uses chromium 3 to tan leather. The problem is that chromium 3 can oxidize and form chromium 6, and this is what is hazardous. There are a variety of factors of how chromium 3 can turn into chromium 6, and this is seen most often in poorly operated tanneries that the media discovers. However, this doesn't represent the entire industry. And from what I've read, it looks like chrome tanning has been heavily studied. I would highly recommend you read the complete essay because I have cherry picked from it. And of course, what happens when you cherry pick things, you don't get to see the full perspective. So I highly recommend that if you are interested, read this essay. Another source I recommend is Leather Working Group, as they promote responsible chemical management throughout the leather supply chain to protect businesses, the workforce, consumers, and the environment. They have a certification that tanneries can do and be documented on their website. And you can also search for certified suppliers worldwide. Now, this is a great way to find tanneries that you might not have heard of. This is something that I'm passionate about, as I want to be buying high quality leather that is being tanned safely for workers, that's safe for leather crafters to use, and also safe for consumers who might buy our products. Genuine, vegan, and PVC leather. I'm sure you would have heard these, but with cowhide, for example, you have different layers in the leather. And you have the top, which is the grain, and the bottom, that is the flesh. Cowhide leather is actually very thick when it gets tanned, and that leather gets split because obviously tanneries are going to be splitting the leather and sell thinner leather. The top half is much more desirable, much more expensive, and this is what, full grain leather, top grain leather will be, and that's more expensive. The second part, which is the split leather, is not really as desirable as the top section of the leather. This can be used to make suede, or it can be left how it is. This can be used for prototyping and reinforcements. This can also be used to make genuine leather goods. And this is where people will make products with genuine leather, but it's just split leather. So it's still technically leather, but it's a lower quality leather. Split leather is not going to be as strong or as durable compared to full grain or top grain leather. Now, because it's still technically leather, that's where people sort of get a bit confused, because genuine leather, you kind of think of high quality leather, but genuine leather, it tends to be just split leather. The next is PVC leather. Now this is just leather scraps mixed with plastic, and then that's what PVC leather is. Vegan leather is sort of similar as well. Made a lot of polyurethane, fruit skin, mix it all together and placed down, and that is vegan leather. Of course, this stuff is just not going to be high quality compared to full grain leather. It's not going to match the strength, the durability, touch, feel, whatever of high quality leather. It's unmatched. You can bring the plastic, the fruit skins, whatever, still not going to match high quality leather. So that is going to be that. Myth number 4, you have to do everything by hand. Now this is something I believe for some time, that in order to make something handmade, you have to do everything by hand. Cut it out, stitch by hand, burnish it by hand. And I'll tell you what changed my perspective on this, what sort of started to work my mind. Because I was someone who I believed that you had to hand stitch, you had to cut, whatever, until I made this duffel bag. Now, that's not my pattern. I bought that pattern. Besides the bell skiver I used to turn the edges, the rest of this, I hand stitched it all by hand. So every stitching you see from the handles, all this, that, the inside, hand stitched by hand. This took over a month to complete. Now, it probably could have been shorter if I had a bigger stitching pony to stitch it all, but it took me a month to complete. This took hours, if not days, to do. And that is a lot to do, right? And this is where you sort of come into efficiency. If someone asked me to make this handbag and they wanted it all hand stitched, everything, if they wanted this bag hand stitched, it would cost a lot of money because it's a lot of time that goes into it. This hours of work that I've done here can be done in seconds, if not minutes, by a sewing machine. So that efficiency has just is insane, right? So if you're running a business as a leather crafter and you have all these orders, there are things that you don't need to do that take time that you don't need to do. Cutting leather out by hand, that takes a long time. You click a die, boom, done within a second, less than a second. Stitching, bell skiver, using a rivet setter, all this sort of stuff. It simplifies it. It allows to keep your costs down. You can sell it for cheaper. It's more efficient, and you can make more products during the day. There are so many things I look for in a product compared to just being hand stitched or not. What is the product of the design? What reinforcements are used? What leather is used? Does the reinforcements prevent stretching? Does the item maintain its shape? How does the item go after a month of use? How the edges are finished? Are they turned, edge painted, or burnished? So there's so much more to an item than just cutting out by hand. This brings me to the next myth, that machines equal lower quality. This goes back to my point about efficiency. And the more you do by hand, so the more you cut out by hand, etc., the more you increase the chance of a mistake from happening. So just say, for example, you have to cut out a particular curve on an item. The more you do that, the more you're going to increase the chance of not cutting it on a curve or whatever. Whereas a clicker die would have 100% accuracy every time and also be very quick. Machines obviously get a bad reputation because of mass production. In mass production, you have low quality products, poorly paid workers. We can still use high quality materials, but with machines, and make high quality items. And that leads me to the next myth, that people care about the tiny details like we do. Us leather crafters, we stress about the most tiniest things. We care about what thread we're going to use. We're going to care about the stitch space between the pricking iron teeth, which is a good thing. We should care about the thread that we use, the stitch space. But customers don't really care about that sort of stuff. The customers, they're worrying about the design of the product. Does this product solve the problem I need it for? Is the leather high quality? Where was the item made? And also the price of the item. So try and think more of what your target audience wants in a product. Myth number 7, more expensive leather equals better. Now, chrome tan leather tends to be cheaper compared to vegetable tan leather, but don't think that the price of leather shows the quality, that it's more better than another leather. I've bought very expensive leather that didn't sell. But yeah, just because there is an expensive leather, don't think that people are going to buy it, because there's so many varieties. Just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's better. What I would recommend though is that before you do buy a big piece of leather or something, request a sample of that leather, because what you can get with a sample is you can sort of look at the leather, and instead of buying a piece of leather and regretting it, you can sort of get a sample and then see if that's how it feels, how it looks. You won't get the best piece of leather, it just might be from the side, and that'll be better than getting the leather and regretting it. Myth number 8, you don't need a lot of fancy tools to get started. Now, I've done videos on, I got 2 specific videos, one of the introduction of Leathercraft, which is actually great if you're a beginner. Also got a video on tools, and also have courses on Leathercraft. You don't need the most expensive tools to get started. Probably an expensive tool I recommend is a high quality edge beveler, but generally you don't actually need a lot of expensive or fancy tools. I'll link those videos in the description, so if you're new to Leathercraft and you want to know the tools, and also I'll link my courses as well if you want to learn Leathercraft. Myth number 9, Leathercraft is difficult. Of course, any new skill is going to be difficult, but with the right information and with persistence, there's no reason why you can't master the basic skills of leathercraft. Now, I have videos on this. I also have courses, as I mentioned before, and I'll link them in the description. That's it for this video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to enjoy your leather crafting.